What is going on, my peeps? Your boy Versatile is back with another video. I thought coming to you guys with my Samsung Galaxy S20 review 1 week later. So how has it been using this phone after having it for about a week? And I thought I'd actually use this time frame, since it's kind of like a mid-review, portion for the coverage of the Galaxy S20, by talking about my top 5 likes and dislikes of this here Galaxy S20. What are my 5 likes and dislikes for this phone here? Well, before we get into that, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys like this video, ignite that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you guys are into tech, Funkos, Marvel, podcasting, all that fun stuff, make sure you guys subscribe and hit that notification bell, so that way you guys get notified when I drop videos. Now let's get into the first portion of this review, and that's more or less my 5 dislikes. I'm gonna get the bad stuff out the way. Like when you eat dinner and you got vegetables and all the goodies on your plate, you gotta get rid of the vegetables first so you can thoroughly enjoy all the good stuff on that plate. Let's get out the bag my dislikes. And the first dislike I have for this phone is 5G. So I've always been one that talks about how 5G is not that big of a deal, and it really isn't. As you guys see, you guys might see that 5G is toggled on here from my phone, but as I've discussed before, I have that basically switched off when I'm at work. In my area downtown, I don't know if it's the towers that's just not up to par, or just sub-6 5G just doesn't penetrate well enough through the walls and where I work. But 5G is like virtually a no-go when I'm downtown Charlotte, so I just don't use it on this phone. And even though I have it toggle back on, since I'm on Wi-Fi at home, I don't really notice it. And then I can't even count or recall the times I may have used this phone on the network outside of Wi-Fi, or just toning it down to LTE, 3G, 2G. So 5G, being that this is the Galaxy S20, we don't get millimeter wave. Sub-6 has been subpar, below subpar on this here phone. 5G is just not a big deal to me right now. I think it will be in another year or so, but right now, it's not a thing that I'm worried about, and it has cost me some connectivity issues. So for those reasons, I've actually just kind of died down 5G on this phone. Well, at least I'm at work. Now, if I notice it works elsewhere, cool, but right now, the 2 main places I'm at, which is home, I'm on Wi-Fi, right? Home Wi-Fi, and number 2 at work, is too either congested or just not enough good penetration through the building, so therefore I don't use it. So my first dislike out the bag is 5G. Now, my second dislike, and now I guess you could say I'm kind of nitpicking with some of my dislikes, but the power button. So it has nothing to do with the feel or the tactile clickiness of the power button. I actually just don't like the orientation. Like the power button, although it's in the convenient spot of resting right on the thumb, the problem with that is you can easily click on it when you're taking it out your pocket. You can actually click on it thinking it's the volume button, depending on how long you've been with either Samsung or another company. But even then, like Samsung seems like they're always flipping back and forth their power button and their volume rocker placements. Like the Note series, or at least the Note 10, had it on the left side here. And now we got the power button below the volume rocker. The S10e had the power button above the volume rocker. So it is somewhat of a confusing mess. Not that I wouldn't say confusing, it's just kind of a nuisance. What I would have liked to see is just them simply switched around where the power button was up here, and hitting the volume rocker by accident is much better, because at least the screen is off and it doesn't do anything unless you listen to music. So that's one of my small dislikes, is the orientation of the buttons. Now, what I can also throw in here in terms of like another hardware decision they chose is, if not the quality, the type of speakers. Not to say that they're bad, but some of the things that I've kind of encountered is, it seems like halfway through volume, you really don't hear much at all until you crank it like above 50%. And then once it's above 50%, it feels like, or sounds like it's a bit tinny, and it seems like it can clip easily. So what I actually did was, with Sound Assistant, if I show you guys that app here, Sound Assistant is an app you can download through GoodLock, and right here. So if I click on this Sound Assistant app right here, you can personalize your phone to different areas or whatever, which is cool. But now the nice thing about this app is it does allow you to change your panel theme. So now when I click volume, is over here on the right, and then you can slide up and down to change the volume, as you guys can see there. So that's nice that I can do that. But even with this app, trying to figure out how to increase or improve the sound has been tough. I've been in here and I just haven't been able to really find anything. Like, I have Dolby Atmos on, the equalizer is set to custom, right? But even then, that isn't really doing too much for me, and the equalizer is set to custom, or just me increasing the bass to try to get a little more oomph out of it. Now, when I did increase the bass, it did improve the sound. It's just, it seems like after halfway, it finally kicks in for sound to actually be heard, period. So that's an interesting situation I found out with the sound, is that it's not as, I wouldn't say nowhere, but it's not as good as the Pixel 4 series. The Pixel 4 series sound coming through the speakers sounds lively, and it sounds really good. I know Will H Tech, I don't know if you guys have watched him before, but he actually did a speaker test for the Samsung Galaxy S20 versus the Pixel 4 XL, and even though through video you can't quite tell as much, but both of us having the device, we both could agree that the sound on the S20 series, or at least the S20 anyway, does not sound as good as a Pixel 4 XL. So that's unfortunately a bit of a bummer, I guess you could say. What's another dislike? Dislike number 3 would be the size of the phone. That still stays in the hardware department, but the size of the phone, even though it's been growing on me, I'm not gonna lie, it's been growing on me. I think this phone would have done even better if it was at 6 inches and not 6.2. And I know you're nitpicking on 0.2 inches, but 0.2 inches would essentially be maybe right here and down, as opposed to 6.2. But as I said, the 6.2's kind of been growing on me, because being able to reach up top hasn't been as bad, and being able to reach across the screen actually hasn't been that bad. So I'm almost more neutral now on the phone size. But of course I like my Pixel 4 because it's much smaller, pocketable, handleability is great. But 6.2 has been interesting to deal with, especially since coming from the 6.3 inch Pixel 4 XL. Now this is slightly thinner, and again, like I said, it's been growing on me a little bit more, so I've been kind of leaning more towards neutral on the phone size. But that was a dislike upon using it at first, just because, it's still 6.2 inches. It's still quite a bit of a phone. And number 5, one of my last dislikes that I've came across on this phone, again, is, well, it's more software based this time. Well, I wouldn't say software, but it's how the screen is calibrated. So as much as I enjoy the vividness of this display, the reds are a sore to my eyes. Like, the red is too doggone bright, and I've kind of tried to go into the display app. Woo! I've tried to go into the display app, go to vivid screen. Well, really that doesn't have anything to do with it. I tried to go to natural to try to tone it down, but it didn't really work that well. Plus, it tones everything down. So if I try to tone down the colors even more, just continue to mute the colors. So unfortunately, vivid is the best way to get the most out of your screen, out of the quality of your display. It's just that the red is too bright. Like, blue looks good on this display. As you guys see here, I have another blue wallpaper. It looks amazing, kind of matches the back of the phone color. Blue is very saturated. Green isn't too bad, but that red is just really, really bright. It's just souring bright. Now, I've been getting used to it, but it's not like what was on my Pixel 4, and I like that screen. I do like that this has a little bit more saturation. Well, actually, I would say significantly more saturation over the Pixel 4, but the red is just crazy bright, crazy vivid, and it's something I've been getting used to, but that is a dislike of mine in terms of the Galaxy S20. So now that we're done with the dislikes, we can shove them off to the side. What are my likes for this right now? Well, the color of the phone. Sticking with some of the hardware choices, I could say the hardware of the phone and the camera module not being an eyesore or an physical sore. But this cloud blue is very nice because it's reminiscent of both the Prism Light and the Aura Glow, and for the most part, unless you get the you know, if you get really close on it, and even then it's kind of hard to tell, but you only notice fingerprints when you're very close on it and you got enough light shining on it to kind of show specific smudges and stuff like that. But even then you can wipe them away and you're good. And the other like about that is about this, and it kind of goes back to more of me going neutral on the phone size, is that using those speaking cases has actually been good because the phone isn't as big. It just adds minimal size to the phone and it works just fine, and that hue of blue from around the camera module still pops up through the cases. So that's also been nice to see, and that's how nice this cloud blue is. Definitely reminiscent of the blue they had last year that I rocked with the S20. So the color of the phone is one of the things I like. The more flat display, I think we all enjoy. If you guys see here, although it's slightly curved, they definitely tone down the curvature of the display, so that way we can hold it so much more easier and not have any issues with palm rejection and accidental touching and stuff like that along the side. When you grab this phone off the table, you can grab it and not worry about the sides, the back. It fits your hand nice because of the curvature of the back. Fits in your hand real nice. I think that might be one of the reasons why I haven't put a skin on it, but with how thick these frames are, the skin would actually fit right into the groove where you wouldn't even essentially feel the skin, like it, especially once you heat it well, like it would mold right into there very well, and you wouldn't even notice it because the framing is thick enough where like it gives it the edges protection. So I definitely enjoy that. One of the apps I use to also further enhance my ability to reject the palm palm rejection is in Good Lock. Again, if you go to family, you can use Edge Touch. So if you use Edge Touch, it's called sensitive zones or edge zones, and you can actually edit basically or customize how far inwards do you want rejection along the curve of the display. And now, because I use edge panels, I had to be careful when I redid mine, or when I did it. So like if I click on it, see, so those lines is where is essentially the edge of the phone. That's the very edge of the phone, and I have mine super thin. The green is the area you have to use to reject is the green, and that virtually eliminates the entire curve of the display. And as you guys can see, if you guys see that little yellow line, I barely have it there to block out the edges for like my fingertips and my palm and whatnot. So that way I can still access my edge panels without disregarding or disabling essentially the curved edges of the display. So that's been nice. I like Samsung's Good Lock app. Maybe I'll do a video on Good Lock and show you guys the features I like to use. But that also assists in the usability of this phone. It's been amazing. Now, what's another like of mine? Well, before I move on to that, the other like I like along with the more flat display is the 120 hertz. It's definitely noticeable. It's more noticeable even above 90 hertz because of how fluid it is and how it almost feels like even if there were to be like software lag moments, the 120 hertz pushes through that, which is also nice. Now gaming wise, it's not activated, at least with Marvel Contest of Champions, as I've said before. It doesn't work with that as well, but it definitely works everywhere else that I've noticed. And like the Pixel 3a XL that has a 60 hertz display, I can notice the difference immediately there. And then even with 60 hertz, you notice just how things scroll, how scrolling activities come to a stop. Like it's just so different in terms of 120 hertz versus 90 hertz and even and definitely versus 60 hertz. Now, my third like is the features, always on display customization, Good Lock, and the settings. So settings is very organized, and you can find virtually everything you need in settings. You know, everything network-wise will be in connections. Everything in terms of sound and vibration will be in sound and vibration. Your stuff for your notifications, right in notifications. Your display has everything involved with your display and your home screen, right, and your navigation gestures. Wallpapers, of course, and then themes is right next to it. They go hand in hand, right? You got your lock screen activity. You got your biometrics and security, your privacy settings, location, you know what I'm saying, your advanced features, digital well-being, which I don't even care about. Like, you know, everything that's not going to be in all those other settings menus is going to be in advanced features. So that's how intuitive Samsung thought in terms of where they place their settings within their settings menu. As I mentioned before, Good Lock has a ton of features or that you can use to customize your phone, and just like Bixby routines, you can get down with how far, almost how far and how granular you want your phone to be. So someone picking up your phone will most definitely not pick up another Galaxy S20 series device and be like, oh, it's the same thing. You can have it tailor-made to you and be your phone. So I definitely enjoy that. Always on display. I love the fact that, one, you get different options for always on display, and this is where I'm probably gonna have issues finding always on display, because I actually have not looked for it. But thankfully, when you're looking for something else, they suggest it down at the bottom. So if I hit always on display, you can allow your always on display to display your fingerprints, which is amazing. You can, you know, change how you want to access your always on display. So if you want tap to show always, or show as schedule, you got that. You can change your clock style, right? You can show your music information. You can rotate the screen. Like, always on display works very well here. Like the Pixel 4, where you could, you know, turn off certain other features like you can with the Galaxy S20, like lift to wake and stuff like that. You want to optimize your battery life so that way you're not redundant in how many ways your phone screen can turn on. You can have it set to exactly how you want to operate your phone. You know, upon a touch, always on display shows you information. You lift up and hit the fingerprint, you're in your phone, or you could double tap the screen and skips the always on display, goes right to lock screen. From there, you can use your face unlock or your fingerprint sensor to get into the phone. Like, and if you have any smart lock devices connected to your phone, you just bypass all the security by being able to just simply swipe up. So, like, it's the plethora of features you get. Like, as I said, with advanced features, your side key where you can have the Bixby button or another app in the power button when you press and hold, or you just have it to show your your power menu. Like, your call and text on other devices, being able to essentially sync this with a Samsung tablet that also has this feature. You can link it to Windows, right? You can control which apps have smart pop-up view. So you can take the app, drag it, or click and hold, hit pop-up view. You know what I'm saying? Like, the phone, along with the tablets, have screenshots and screen recorder settings. You can actually screen record right on the spot with your phone or Samsung tablet. And if you are not going into the developer options and you want to speed up your phone just a little bit, use that reduce animations feature, right? Motions and gestures, all kinds of stuff you want activated or use, Samsung has it to you. And it's dependent on you to use the features. Like, if they're off, you don't have to worry about the phone feeling like it's got to do too much. And even then, you got 12 gigs of RAM in this phone. So Samsung definitely prepped this phone and equipped this phone to handle the majority of tasks that we as consumers have. Now, I mentioned it briefly, but like number 4 is the camera. I've just taken a few pictures. I've been trying to hold off on really going in on the camera and been really getting to know the phone. I will be doing a camera and video test here soon. Probably that video may drop over the weekend, just because that's when I'll have time to actually use it. But the few pictures I've taken have been good. I have not, I haven't had any issues with focus. I haven't had any issues with quality. Night mode has surprisingly worked pretty well. I won't say surprisingly, but it's worked well. Is it on par with Google Pixel's night sight? it's tough because it's Google's camera prowess, software technology, which is just crazy. But Samsung still holds up. And the camera module itself has not gotten in the way. Like, I don't even pay attention to the fact that it's there. So, like, that's a good thing. Like, that Ultra's camera module is ridiculous. And the fact that they were able to keep this, you know, minimal is a definite plus for Samsung. Now, number 5, my fifth like for this phone is software in general. Gone are the days of TouchWiz. Samsung experience, One UI, has been a joy to use. From the apps looking the way they do now, from the plethora of settings that you can get, and the phone still runs smooth, being able to access those functions, and for them to have Good Lock that essentially works in tandem with their software. It's like it's finally tuned to their phones and their tablets, but I would say Good Lock is even more finely tuned to the phones. But the software works and plays along with that kind of stuff, and you get a fine piece of sophisticated hardware that has very good software. And paired with the 120 hertz, it virtually eliminates problems that Samsung used to have. And I think that was a smart move for them to finally invest in a high refresh rate for their own displays. I mean, you see that. It's just seamless. And then, of course, with your quick settings, you can have all kinds of quick settings, you know, at the palm of your hand. You know what I'm saying? So like and then again, like I mentioned with Sound Assistant and Good Lock, like when I hit sound and I hit this little arrow over, and then you get a sound menu, and then you click on whatever you want to click on, your equalizer, you can change right on the spot. You don't have to leave where you're at. You know, you can do it right there in place, and then click out of it when you're done, and you're good to go. Like, Samsung has done a great job with these phones, and it's only going to be, you know, that much better next year and the year after that. And then you're going to see a lot of these features, if not the improved software, in their more premium range, such as the foldable devices, the Z Flip, the Fold, and the next gen Fold. Like, Samsung's doing their thing here, and I also like the fact that it's migrating on over to the tablets, so that way you get a seamless experience there as well. And you know, you can be familiar with one and be familiar with the other. So that's my week review of the Samsung Galaxy S20. My top 5 likes and dislikes. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of the S20, whether or not you got it or will be getting it, or some of the things you like and some of the things you dislike. I love the conversation down in the comments, so go ahead and do that. But that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys, again, appreciate and enjoyed it. If you haven't already, ignite that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell, so that way people who have hit that notification bell will be notified when I drop videos. But that's it for this video. Your boy Versatile signing out. And until the next video, wait for it.